Welcome to another episode of Roadman Reviews.
Wow. It's actually pronounced but you know, that's how we go.
That's nice.
Is it? Ahmed, you're hosting, man. Do the intro. We gotta do this, man.
Welcome to another week, another episode of Roadman Reviews.
See, I can do it as well.
So as you can see, Mufid's trying to perfect the sound of mating.
Is that what Chachi's been doing?
I don't know who Chach is. Maybe he is doing it, but
so anyway,
just here.
as usual, we'll waste the
what?
first 10 minutes.
See, it works.
There you go.
Go ahead.
So welcome to another week's episode of Roadman Reviews. I'm joined, as always, by the lovely Fahed.
Hello.
Mr. Mufid.
He's got Tourette's.
So we'll cut that bit out. So today's review is all about Kingsman, the sequel, The Golden Circle, I think it is. So based obviously following the widely successful 2014, thank you for that, review. And
our wildly successful 2014 review. Oh, that's impressive.
What review?
You know
We
what?
were around back in 2014,
You know
guys.
Sorry, I dropped my script. But anyway,
The successful movie in 2014.
based 2014. Thank you.
Yeah,
Murphy.
okay.
Yeah. Real pedigree here. And then
Where's the dog?
But anyway, so give me initial thoughts firstly. Let's start from
Don't we need to... Come on, man. You can't just dive straight in. The viewers haven't seen it. Well, they have, because it's been out for 2 weeks. But still...
Well, the only guys that are watching it have watched Kingsman.
That's true. But let's let them know what the film's about a little bit, man.
Okay,
You know what
so
I mean? What's
Kingsman...
What is the Golden Circle, Ahmed? Tell me, please.
Without spoiling it? Or... Oh, by the way, this is a spoiler review. So the Golden Circle is a drug company.
Yeah.
That's it, really.
Okay.
As you can tell, yeah.
It's owned by a woman.
Julian Moore.
Julian Moore. So it's obviously Kingsman continues the story of the British Secret Service agent.
What's his name?
Egerton is his real name.
Eggsy.
Eggsy is
Egerton is the guy who plays him.
Yeah.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
do the
it's
factual.
Eggsy.
Eggsy is the
Anyway.
it's the whole show pretty much. But
It's not a show.
It's a movie.
It's a movie.
you know what I mean, okay? Yeah. So Eggsy followed by with the return of the cast of Merlin.
Yep.
And what's his name? The guy that
What?
one-eyed guy,
One-eye guy. Oh, Colin Firth.
Colin Firth.
Can't remember what his name is.
Rejoined the cast from the.
What? Merlin? What?
Merlin's a bald guy, man.
Are you trying to catch me out again, mate?
Anyway.
Anyway.
Go on.
Yeah, so I'm host, just to let you know. So anyway, I mean, generally, obviously, the first film you guys remember fondly. What were you looking for in this film?
More of the same, to be honest, from my perspective. Fair here, guys. Just to let you know.
Who's that?
No, shut the fuck up. No, more of the same. Having a. I think balance is the word I would use. You know, the first one of the best things about it was the fact that it was so balanced. The balance between the action, the humour, and the fact that the film had heart and a storyline. You know, all of those elements were kind of fell completely balanced with one another. Everything was fantastic. That's kind of what was really, really good about it. So here, what I was really hoping for was kind of more of the same, in that sense.
Okay, Mufid, what about yourself?
Storyline.
Story.
The bigger thing, yeah. Because the first one had a storyline to it. Because it was a new sort of James Bondy, not really James
Kind
Bondy.
of spoof, but not really a spoof type thing.
But it had a good storyline to it. I didn't expect much, to be fair, from the first one, but I came out thinking, oh, it's good.
Yeah, I think we all were the same.
So I just wanted that to continue. The action, I knew it would have action based on trailers and stuff, but I just wanted to have a good storyline. And now you've got, obviously, more agents in America and whatnot.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, before we delve into the review, one of the things obviously we knew before going to the film was Colin Firth returned. Now, for those who've watched the first one, we know that, he was supposed to have died.
Yeah.
Well, you guys
get shot in the head, you know.
Yeah. Usually it is followed by death and a funeral, but were you guys worried he was being ushered back in because of his popularity, or did you guys think...
a little bit, yeah. I mean...
If he stayed dead, there'd be no difference.
Yeah, that's actually true.
I think so.
Yeah, that's actually true.
Apart from the end where he does stuff and shoots people, but apart from that, I mean...
Even then you can replace him with a different character.
Yeah.
You can replace him with,
if it was Channing Tatum doing the same thing, or Narcos guy. I forgot his name is. Javier, probably.
Probably was actually. No, it was based off. Was it Whiskey?
Take that off as well.
What's his name in Narcos?
There is Javier Pena.
Yeah, Javier Pena.
Yeah, but I don't know what his actual name is.
It's based after one of the, I don't know, was it Whiskey his name is, or Scotch?
Oh, Tequila. Tequila.
Tequila's Channing Tatum.
Ah.
He was Whiskey.
I'm talking his actual name as opposed to...
Oh, his real name?
Narcos name.
I forgot.
We'll go, you guys have Google and you can do it, yeah.
We'll go with Javier Pena.
So, I mean, going into the... Let's go into the main review. Give me your general thoughts. Let's start with Mufid.
Yeah.
What did you enjoy overall?
Going on like there's nothing good in the film. You enjoyed something out of the film at least. Come on.
I thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it had quite a bit of humour to it, which was good. The part where Eggsy is in the flat with his mates and they're talking about stuff and I don't know, they're getting high and all that. That was quite good. There was a few parts when he went over to America with Channing Tatum. There's a few interaction between the two of them that was quite funny. But it's hard. In general, it was an okay movie. It was the humor that did it for me. I think the storyline was as good, but we'll get back to the negatives later.
Okay.
So humor.
For you, Fahad, I mean, in terms of the new sister company we find out, or cousin, Statesman, are there any particular cast members that really stood out, you really enjoyed listening or wanted to see more of, maybe, or where you maybe left a bit disappointed, didn't feel the need for them?
Yeah, I mean, I'll get back to that point in a second. To get my initial thoughts of it, yeah, it was good, but I can't really put my finger on nothing really stood out in this film. I mean, it felt a little bit overstuffed. That was kind of the word I would use to describe it. I mean, the first kind of third of the film is all dealing with sort of Eggsy and his entire situation and setting up the Golden Circle, and then all of a sudden they go over to the Statesman. Realistically, they didn't even need to be in this film, to be honest with you. The Statesman, it could have kind of just been another standalone Kingsman story.
Are you talking about Channing Tatum?
No, I mean all of them. All of them. Yeah, I mean realistically, the only one that really was kind of any substance was it Whiskey, Agent Whiskey.
You know what I didn't like?
Sorry,
you know what I didn't like when in the trailers they've got obviously Channing Tatum there, and you think he's going to play a big role. Not even half the movie, like 9% of the movie, he's dead. I think the reason for that is I'm not 100% sure of this, but I think to take it away from
No. I think the reason for that is the film was originally meant to be like 3 hours long or something like that, like 3 hours and 10 minutes or something, and then Fox got it down to like 2 hours and like was it 2 hours and 20 minutes or something. So there's about 40 or 50 minutes of kind of missing footage, and I think some of the footage in the trailers isn't even in the film as well. All of that kind of stuff. So I mean, yeah, but going back to your point in terms of initial thoughts, it was a good film. Again, like Muffy said, some funny scenes, action sequences were kind of the standout for me. But a little bit disappointed, to be honest with you, when comparing it to the first one, on the strength that film had.
I mean, for me, the main thing, obviously, just to go over overall review briefly, is it suffered a lot from what you would call sequelitis.
Oh yeah.
I think so. They focused on the action bits people liked, and then they did a lot more of it. They said, you know what, let's go bigger. They went bigger. Yeah. The
humour was more crass, like it was in the first one.
So a lot of it suffered from that. I think I would have rather like you said, a contained story. I don't mind the inclusion of Statesman, but if there was a purpose, the only purpose they really served was,
let's go to America!
One, and two, we have a double agent. Oh, how shocking. But this double agent has a moral. There's a reason to it. But diving into it, Phil, casting. Obviously, what's his name? Egerton, I think his name is.
Taron Egerton, yeah.
Egerton. He is an up-and-coming talent. How do you think he did in this film compared with Channing Tatum, Halle Berry, all this bigger cast, Javier Pena?
Well, I think he cared the most out of a lot of the actors in the film. I mean, obviously because he's like one of his first roles or something like that. He really does genuinely kind of care, and you can say that he's obviously making a lot of an effort with it. In terms of the other guys, I mean, obviously Colin Firth is always good in pretty much everything he says, so can't really say anything bad about him. But I felt like Channing Tatum wasn't really in the film enough to kind of thingy about him. I mean, Pena guy was pretty good as well, you know what I mean? But again, they're like, because the film is so overstuffed, it's like you don't get enough time for everyone to kind of have something to do. And I felt like the villain, like Julianne Moore, even though she's a great actress, didn't really have a lot to do in this film, which is a bit frustrating. I think it was overstuffed, and it's a bit disappointing because Matthew Vaughn, like, they're pretty much all of his films. I mean, X-Men First Class, Kingsman 1, Kick-Ass. What was the one that he did about drugs? What was it called again? Is it Layer Cake? He did Layer Cake, I think, as well. All really, really good films, and it's really weird, like, watching him make a film that's a little bit disappointing. I mean, it still feels very much like a Matthew Vaughn film. It's got, like, beautiful camera moves, bright, vivid colours, all that kind of stuff. It's got a good sense of fun and humour to it, but again, it's just missing a lot of missing something from it. I think again, like the word you use, sequelitis, describes it perfectly. Just too overstuffed, going too big when they shouldn't really. Kind of. I
mean, Muffy, the action sequences, obviously from the first film, that was one of the things that stood out. How was it in this film for you?
There was a lot of slow mo.
Yeah,
a lot of slow mo. But it was okay actually compared to the last one, because with the last one you had a lot of fighting and stuff, but now you got Javier Peña with his whip, with his skipping rope, as Eggsy called it, and then you had Channing Tatum, even though he was in the majority of the movie, with his shotgun.
Do you think there was too much CGI in the action scenes? Like you could tell.
I think the dog stuff was just stupid.
The dog stuff. Oh, the robot dogs.
The robot dogs. I thought that was just stupid. It was just like, oh, she's just gonna sit there, call her dogs on her. It's not. I don't know what it is. It's just like, there's
nothing to it. I mean, one of the things.
There's no consequences. That's what it seems like. Like, sorry to interrupt, Ahmed, but it almost seems like, okay, so you can bring people back from the dead now. You can bring people back from like bullet wounds in their head and stuff like that. So nothing has stakes anymore. It's just a fun kind of thing. And I think the big thing is the first film, even though it was tongue in cheek and there's a bit of a spoof on kind of the genre, it still was like a serious kind of film in that sense. This one is like a spoof of the first film. It's just like taking the piss out of everything.
Yeah, it's stupid. Like when Colin Firth was beating up the robot dog with an umbrella, whatever it may be.
Elton John doing flying kicks for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, there's humour to it.
Yeah, I mean, it was
what
funny,
I liked, but it's just like.
I mean, the thing is,
what are you guys doing? Are you being?
One of the things I would say with compared to the first one, like I said, even though it had some comedy and like I said, it was a sort of tongue-in-cheek, light-hearted version of a James Bond film, unofficially maybe. One of the things it had though is you could watch that film and you can see from the beginning to the end,
journey.
His journey, so
coming of age
character
story.
development. And this film, and this is one of the issues I had with it, was one of the big issues was Merlin's death. Why do nothing. Yeah,
what's the point?
Considering how close they are, it didn't do nothing. And secondly, even from a plot perspective, it was so easily avoidable. I mean, you've got the most ridiculous gadgets, the most ridiculous action scene, but you can't get a guy to get his feet off a landmine.
Yeah.
It was inconsistent in that respect.
Almost seemed like the reason they got rid of him is because they've got Halle Berry now. And Halle Berry is a bigger draw than sort of Mark Strong is, unfortunately. So they thought, well, we'll kill him off, and we've got her now for all the sequels.
Which is what I was going to come to towards the end, with that, and maybe Channing Tatum as well. But I mean, for you, in terms of the overall pacing of the film,
production stuff, visual effects. And stuff.
How did you find it?
Pace is a bit of a weird one because I remember the first one dragging a little bit, like the Kingsman 1 dragging a little bit, but the pace was pretty good. It's pretty fast, but this one it really did drag towards the middle bit, and I'm not sure why. I mean, the opening action sequences was really good with the car chase and stuff like that, but then I can't exactly remember when, but somewhere during the sort of runtime of the film, it really began to slow down a little bit. I didn't look at my watch, but I could really feel the end and say, okay, this does feel like a long film, and I was quite surprised that it was only 2 hours and 20 minutes or something. So it did really kind of drag a little bit in some areas until like the end, and it picked up. And I guess that's again because of too much happening in the film, too many plot points, too many different kind of strands.
I mean, coming on to plot points, the supporting cast, are there any that stick in your mind? Are there any that impressed you for, I want to see more of this person, or
in that movie?
In this movie particularly, obviously you have the returning, Merlin's pretty much dead in water, but other than that, Colin Firth's return, all the statesmen, are there any parts or stories that you like that was introduced, or is it a case of no?
No, I can't. I mean, even you can't really call them side stories, but the story with Javier Peña being a rogue agent and stuff, it was just like, why?
Yeah.
Who cares?
I know.
If he dies, he dies. It's not like I want to. Maybe a bit more of Channing Tatum, maybe because of the fact that if it's Channing Tatum, he's a decent actor and he can act in different movies.
He could dance. You could dance in the film. That's why they give you a higher grade.
No,
Start dancing.
One of the things is that I've got. One of the things that
I'm not watching that movie.
No, hell no. One of the things that I've got.
Yeah, Chach is a prick. Always liking these dancing movies.
Yeah, I mean, so for me, it'd be Channing Tatum. I want to see more of him, just to see his role in it.
That's the thing.
Because I went to see him, and he was the first statesman to see it. They saw.
Yeah.
And then that's it. He got all blue like an avatar.
Well, to pick up on that, one of the issues I had was all the supporting cast plot points were so obvious. Halle Berry, I wanted to be a Kingsman, but Pena stopped me from being. We're gonna keep calling him Pena, by the way. Pena stopped me from being a Kingsman, and at the end, I'm not a statesman.
Yeah,
that was one. Again, Javier Pena. The one thing that really bothered me as well. Yeah,
what's his name?
One of the things
that who are watching. Really, what is his name?
One of the things that really bothered me was his motive.
Yeah,
it was dropped on us.
Right,
it wasn't. We didn't come to it, naturally. It wasn't a case of, his sister. His
it would have almost been more interesting if, when Colin Firth's character actually just shot him in the head and he realised, oh no, he was actually on our side, it was being
exactly what I was going to say. And I was hoping for that, because at that point in the movie, like you were saying, that's when it started dragging a bit.
Yeah.
So I was hoping, what if it's more of a focus on Colin Firth doesn't know reality or not. But no, he is a double agent. How did you figure it out?
Yeah.
I mean, how did you... There's no explanation, there's no satisfaction
he
coming
just,
to that.
He just shoots him, and it's like...
Yeah, he's definitely a double agent.
He's definitely, yeah.
Well, I guess again, a lot of these problems could kind of just go back to the length of the film and how it might have meant to be long on some of these kind of inconsistencies be there. But then realistically, why would anyone want to watch like a 3.5 hour or 3 hour kind of spy action film?
Well,
I think that's a bit too long.
I don't think that's a good enough a reason for him, because to tell me you can't tell... If your story... You make your story more concise then. Cut out a lot of this extra load.
Yeah.
If you're... what do you want to tell? What's the story you want to tell at the end of the day? Everything else around it, Kingsman First Class. You've got all
Kingsman First Class.
Kingsman
First Class.
What an epic film that was. But Kingsman Secret Service. If you put all the extras you've got around it, but if you take the main story, it's about a kid becoming a man and a secret agent, etc. That's it. What's this story? Take everything apart. What is it? There is no story.
Yeah.
Colin Firth came back alive.
It's like, I'll tell you what I'll say about this, just to kind of wrap up. I mean, we haven't even gone on to our negatives, but I think we've kind of highlighted our negatives throughout the entire film, so there's no real point for that. But it's, the best way I can describe this film is they're great sequences in the film, great scenes in the film.
Yeah.
But that when they kind of go on kind of together, they don't really add up, you know what I mean? They're good, loads of good ideas for scenes in the film, but they're kind of putting from different films. I mean, I have a question for you guys, maybe you, Mufid. I mean, if they were to make another Kingsman film, what would you want them to do with it? I mean, would you want them to kind of scale back a little bit on the humour and just tell a solid story, or would you want them to go a bit more crazy and balls to the wall?
I'd want Kingsman, whatever you want. It should be Kingsman, shouldn't it, really? Yeah. Anyway, led by Elton John. Because his flying kick in that
on point.
Was
on point.
I mean, he practiced that day and night.
I mean, it went fast like a
rocket man.
Candle in the wind. Okay.
No, okay.
Damn it.
So that's how you know we don't practice this before. I mean,
So you had your say. You want to see more Elton John? What you say, Ahmed?
I've been.
I mean, to be fair.
I've been like a movie.
To be fair, I think, like I said, scale it down, tell a better story. And you know what? Keep Channing Tatum in it.
Yeah.
And now, obviously, Halle Berry as well. Keep him in it. And just tell them all, concentrate on staying in London and tell a better story there.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, for you, obviously, the way it ends is with Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
His last scene. Do you think that's a hint for the trilogy? Or?
Yeah, I mean, I think Matthew Vaughns got plans for like a third one. I'm not sure how this one's done in the box office. Probably been doing kind of okay, but I guess it's going to probably be like a partnership. My thing would just be, let's just scale it down a little bit. Let's get a little bit away from kind of the stupid humour and use the humour more in context. Yeah. And let's maybe tell a bit of a smaller story, because the way this film ended is almost exactly the same as the way the first one ended.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And it was just like, okay, man, you're doing the same thing again now. Again, goes back to sequelitis. But it's not all bad. I mean, there's some sequences that are really good in there. See, it's nice, isn't it? Yeah, you've been diagnosed with sequelitis.
Is that an actual word?
No, it's like
it's just a phrase they use.
Yeah, probably
a phrase we use.
Yeah.
Patent pending.
Anyway,
what are we talking about now?
You were saying in terms of scale it down.
Yeah, just turn it down a little bit. Turn it down.
So, this is the favourite part of our show.
Okay.
Scores.
Ooh.
Mufid? Out of 10?
Out of 10. I enjoyed it. I would watch it again, so I'd give you a 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd give it a 6.5. 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah. For me, I'd give it a 6 as well. I think, I'm not planning to watch it anytime soon. That's it. Done.
Yeah. Fun, I'm glad I watched it. It was a fun time. Felt a little bit long, but again, wouldn't want to watch it again.
Yeah, and the parts that surprised me, like the Elton John bit and stuff. It was the humour that was like, oh, okay. They did that with it.
Well, on to the next film, which is one I know that has been long time anticipated. So hopefully...
you giving him a C's? You giving him a C's?
It is.
Yeah.
Next
to the one person that's watching, that'll probably be us. Do you know what he's talking about? I think you might.
They've turned off now. So.
That's it at that point.
No,
until our next review of Blade Runner, we all bid you...
We're not... balls. You build up the anticipation and then...
we are going to do a professional review of Blade Runner.
Okay. Professional?
2049.
Semi-professional.
Semi-pro.
Just a podcast. Until then, we all wish you all the best.
Find us on social media: Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, SoundCloud, or Roadman Reviews.
Google Chrome.
Yeah.
Mozilla Firefox.
On the street.
HTML. On the street. Selling us CDs from the back of a car.
I
want to see this mixtape, mate?
Until then.
See you next week, guys.
See you next week.
Bye.